John was working in his science lab, got blasted by gamma rays. Now he's Smash Trivia John, always smashing. He's friends with Ruffalo, in love with Aslan, and also some arrow weaving. John's here saying, hello my gamma friends, welcome to the show, the Gamma Analysis Podcast.
And Hulk. Smash.
Hello, my Gamma friends. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, I'm gonna review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and also do random other geeky films. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening, please do sign for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast to all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now let's smash right into this episode. Today's episode is a review of the 90s Incredible Hulk animated show. Episodes 3 and 4 are titled, I believe, Raw Power and Helping Hand and Iron Fist. With my friend Braden from Twitter. How you doing, Braden?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Doing good. I'm very excited to get back to talking about this show. I think these episodes, I definitely like them. Like them a lot. I do have some problem with them, but one big thing that I talked about last time that I think actually was fixed with these episodes is I think that Lou Ferrigno's voice as the Hulk is a lot better in these episodes than he was in the first two.
Oh, for sure, I agree.
Yeah, really, like that. I really liked that. I love how much focus there is on on Hulk making friends. I really enjoy that. One thing that I am kind of annoyed about is how it's painful whenever Hulk turns back into Bruce. I don't like that. The reason I don't like that is because I kind of feel like that goes against the idea. Because what turns him into Hulk is anger, and pain makes someone angry. So it wouldn't make sense for him to turn back into Bruce if he's in pain.
Oh yeah, I get that. It's funny. It's been a long time since I've seen the show. I've seen the show when I was like years ago when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I forgot. I was so used to watching Bruce and Rick Jones just always be together. I forgot the time they were separated. Mm-hmm. And these recent episodes are about them coming back together, especially with Iron Man's help, which is another fun cameo that pays off. And I almost forgot about the Shield agent helping Ross. I forgot how it is funny that besides Spider-Man, the Hulk animated show had the most amount of crossovers with everything else. And Luke Perry as Rick Jones was great casting, but the amount of times where whenever I think about the show, I think about Bruce and Rick's friendship, and there's kind of not a funny one, but there is a moment where some of them are kind of are you sure you're friends with Bruce? Because you just keep following him around, but they do show that they are actually friends, and Rick is genuinely loyal to both Bruce and the Hulk. He cares about both of them individually and together, which I thought was really nice to point out.
I think that's really nice. I think which sadly doesn't seem to be a case with some of the other characters and that's sadly with a lot of different Hulk adaptations. They're they treat Hulk as this thing that just needs to be destroyed and cured or Bruce. It's no, Hulk is his own person and deserves to stay alive.
It's funny. I do think because this does kind of show where they are at the start of the series. Because the cure aspect of I gotta find a cure. I gotta cure the Hulk. I do that, whatever. I forgot how frequent it was in the early half. Because when I watched the show as a kid, I was always used to later on where like Bruce
Mhm.
kind of in a way was forced to accept the Hulk. It just in terms of like I'm helping people, I'm helping stop
Yeah,
bad guys, and we haven't gotten to that part yet in the
like
plot of the show.
that's like as I've been the past few years reviewing episodes of the live action 70s show. Oh, that's something that I've always been and very annoyed about is how Bruce kind of seems very stagnant, and he's just always in this idea of he has to cure himself inside. He can't seem to see the fact that Hulk helps people.
Well,
And like that's something that always annoys me in that.
Well, I know I understand that because I still love I have a lot of affinity for the live action show because of Bill
Of
Bixby
course.
and it was like really with the exception of the Linda Carter Wonder Woman show, it was kind of like the best superhero show of the 70s. It's like
Mhm.
and the Incredible Hulk TV show was inspired by the Fugitive TV show from like the 1950s, and in the Fugitive TV show, like the Harrison Ford movie based off the show. It's about this guy who's framed, and every episode he's helping people, but he has to keep moving because he was framed for murder he didn't commit, and he doesn't even clear his name until the series finale of that show. The Incredible Hulk TV show, the live action one with Bill Bixby, it's like they thought. I don't. Obviously, we never got a proper series finale,
Mhm.
but we got some good TV movies. But they really kept teasing that Bruce being cured and being happy and being free from the Hulk will be the series finale. I don't think they realized that was a mistake. They never went through with it, obviously, but like I think they that kind of led to the wrong perception of Bruce and the Hulk. Because
Yeah.
even when it regards to like the MCU Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton, I still like that film a lot. I have some issues with it, but I still like it. A big part of that movie is him trying to cure himself of the Hulk, and it just doesn't. It doesn't work because you're like, this is your first movie. Avengers is coming. We didn't know at the time. We like, no, you can't cure your superpower, and
Yeah.
also you have DID. You can't just get rid of an alter. Like even
Yeah.
in my own personal experiences with DID, I have lost some alters. I have gone through different merges and stuff, but I could never deliberately cure it. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't cure
Yeah.
my condition.
and
So
and like also maybe this is I know I'm obviously I don't have I have the ID, so I'm not like an expert on this, but like from what I've heard, like with the scientific like definition, the different alters, they are fully formed people, and
yeah,
so by trying to get rid of them, and wouldn't that be kind of like killing someone in a way?
there's a sense of mourning and there's a sense of change. And I've had some alters who were very like disruptive to my own personal
Yeah.
life and did some selfish things. And the more I argued with them, the more I try to push them away, it will lead to static. Even like some friends of mine had bad interactions with some alters of mine, arguments because I had some alters who hated me personally as the because I am because I'm the oldest, I'm the host, so to speak, right? I'm the
Yeah.
oldest, person. I'm the host alter. I'm the original personality, if you were
Yeah.
to be cynical about it. So there was like a lot of resentment and a lot of rough stuff that we had to get through. And some alters of mine, we're in a better place. And even
Yeah.
some alters I've lost because of emotional change, just in terms of how my mind was at.
Hmm.
Trying to cure a condition, if it's not life threatening, I mean, if unless it's like a disease, like cancer,
Yeah.
it doesn't lead to good change. It leads to more consequences.
Yeah.
With
Makes sense.
Bruce in like because there's okay in the comics and in of course the shows and the movies, whenever Bruce tries to cure himself, if it kind of becomes aggravating because you're causing more problems. Like even obviously you know we see one of his villains get created by accident, Zazix, the
Yeah.
electricity villain. And I almost I remember him being in the show. I forgot about the fact that it was actually kind of Bruce's fault, really, in the context of like Bruce was trying to help himself get this thing, and this guy goes out to help him, and then he gets transformed to that. So like, but like it does work in the sense of like heroes do accidentally create villains, and trying to fix something can lead to unforeseen consequences. So like I thought that
Yeah.
was interesting, and Um, what's funny, it's funny because obviously Incredible Hulk, this cartoon is there's a lot of action, so there's a lot of there were some episodes later on in the show that had a lot of repetition for me. But these recent episodes that we rewatched, I do like the fact they had some variety just in terms of like when Iron Man has to deal with Ross and then they have to also deal with Hulk, and there's a lot of laser fire and like robots and stuff.
Mhm.
So like they visually showed a lot of differences to
Yeah.
help break up the action, and also Rick was there, so like there was even more tension and stakes. Rhodey was there, War Machine. So like I think I like the Iron Fist, the Iron Man episode the most. It's called
Yeah,
Iron
definitely.
Fist in the title, but I kept thinking
Yeah,
of Danny.
it's so weird. Like I feel like Marvel's done that a bunch of times. They're like where they particularly call something an Iron Fist thing just to mess
Yeah,
with fans. I remember when I remember like probably like 10 years ago or something. There was a Lego Marvel animation where with Iron Man in it, and he had a part of his suit come off to go to send it to save somebody.
yeah.
It was his and it was his fist, and so
Mm.
so a passerby was like, "Thank you, Iron Fist," and he was like, "No, Iron Fist is a complete person. He's a complete guy. That's not Iron Fist."
No, because like even when like before I rewatched the episode, you told me again about the episode's title. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I didn't know Danny was in the show. And then I was like, oh, it's Tony, it's Iron Man. Like I remember him being. I didn't know it was called. I didn't know the episode's called Iron Fist.
Mhm.
you know, that's all. Yeah, but it was still
If
a
you're
fun episode.
if you're wondering why, like I particularly like I try to give like the episode a name, it's just because like it's just is there's sometimes with older shows where like different places you watch it, it will have things not in order, so
Mm.
so that way you can like make sure that you're watching the right episode. And and no, I noticed that particularly being a problem when I've reviewed the 70s live action shows. There's
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of times where the different sites it's in like or if you rent it or if you buy a DVD, like it's different orders. It's like it's kind of annoying.
yeah. I get that. And with the exception of a few references, like another thing that I think I should talk about. We got to see Doc Samson.
Yeah.
He starts over here, and because this before I started reading comics as a kid, when I was watching Incredible Hulk, this show was my first introduction to Doc Samson before I read him in the comics. So because I was kind of like even like I was like he must be very important, and then of course obviously he is important because now he's a colleague of Betty, but they kind of do establish that he's kind of because with Doc Samson he's very much the in between of Bruce and Hulk now, and I really with Marvel animation in the 90s, I do always like the fact they had designs for the comics that were very like if you know you know. Like when
Yeah.
Doc shows up, he already has green hair. So
Yeah, like
like
I love that we actually got Doc Samson in this. I feel like a lot of Hulk adaptations don't seem to do him for some reason.
no,
Even, the Incredible Hulk, from 2008,
yeah,
kinda did him,
yeah,
but then the character never came back, so we never got to see him with the green hair,
yeah, yeah.
which I do. I want him to come back because I think that actor with green hair would be just so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah, Ty Burnell, right? He
Yeah,
played the dad in Modern Family.
oh, I think that would be great. To be honest, I kind of feel like they are. It's definitely unlikely, but like I kind of feel like Destin Daniel Cretton would be someone who would bring someone like that back.
Well, what's funny? I was thinking about Hulk and the Hulk villains the other day that we haven't really gotten to yet, and I do think some of them will be coming into the MCU, whether it be post Secret Wars or even beforehand. Because there are times where I'm like, you know, it would be easier to get around certain like issues by if you just use this villain. Or
Yeah,
like I remember now obviously Sony changed their tune and they're gonna give more Spider-Man villains to the MCU. But there was a moment where I was kind of like, you know, if Jamie Foxx Electro didn't come back, if no Electro was in the MCU, you could just use Azix,
mm-hmm.
just to get around it. Like he's a
Oh
Hulk
yeah,
villain, he's lightning based, electricity based. That could have been an
that would
easy
be a
fix.
That would actually work really well in Brand New Day. Like you can have like this moment where Peter thinks
It's
is
Electro.
Electro, oh, but then it's revealed that it's Zazix, and that Hulk is the one who recognized him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that could you could, um
You know what's funny in regards to Hulk and Professor Hulk, because we're gonna get the rumors of Savage Hulk being a thing again.
mhm,
There was a moment because he was Professor Hulk for the years in between the snap, from 2018 to 2023, and Bruce is a famous beloved celebrity in Endgame in 2023. There was a moment I thought, I wonder if Professor Hulk had adventures in those 5 years of
oh,
fighting the other bad guys if they wanted to retcon
I bet
them
he did.
existing in the MCU.
I really wish we would get to see what he did during those 5 years. Like I think that would be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
one thing that briefly showed up in episode three that
Yeah.
I kind of wish showed up the rest of the episode is Ross is using these robots that look like Hulk.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because it's kind of this reference to how in the the first few issues of the of Incredible Hulk from the '60s, Ross made a Hulk shaped missile to shoot at Hulk.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I do.
Like like that's something so goofy that I wish more things would reference it. And I
Yeah.
think that's such a fun little aspect of the comics.
No, 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 I get that. And I do think, with this show, with this Incredible Hulk cartoon, I think its biggest strength were the times they do reference the 60s comics, the classic 60s comics with Bruce and them. And then I feel like they only do other styles of Marvel comics in relation to people like Tony, or even
Mm-hmm.
like when that Shield agent shows up, he's wearing this classic
Mm-hmm.
outfit of Shield,
You know, with
blue and
with the Shield agent, I kind of wonder or if he was a bit of like Marvel's beta test for having a Black Nick Fury because he felt very Nick
oh,
Fury
no,
like.
no, 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 no. Obviously, there was a moment where like because Nick Fury, Black Nick Fury from the Ultimate Universe, who was modeled after Sam Jackson, he debuted in the Ultimates, I think, in the year 2000. And I remember I was watching this. I was like, wait a minute, this is the '90s. This is too early. But I'm like, he moves and acts like he moves and acts like Nick Fury sometimes, and he even had similar hair to the white Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one. There are some other like Shield characters who have a similar like vibe. So there was a moment where I'm like, seemingly for I had to research, I had to like double check.
Yeah.
For what I can tell, this is an original character for the most part, but he's also a reference to one of the Howling Commandos from Captain America,
Yeah.
and he seems to be a combination like of someone else. So like, and also like they did keep mentioning Nick Fury a lot, which felt like very
Yeah.
much like which I did love the fact because one of the most recurring subplots with General Thunderbolt Ross is the U.S. government is like, look, we know you're doing your best, maybe you should give up, or at the very least let someone else do it because like
Well,
it's causing too much of a mess. You're burning through money trying to get it, you know.
yeah.
So I do like the fact that even in episode 3, they already established that the U.S. government was mad at Ross.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What did you think of Zazix in episode three? And like his for one his design like since that is like different from the comics.
Oh no, no, I like the design. I understand why they did it, just for like they want to try a different color. I even kind of like the build up to it. I think the only real issue I had is I don't know if they meant to do this. It's like they gave him his own alter. Because when he becomes Zazix, his personality flips and he
Yeah.
starts talking very differently. So I was like, oh, is this intentional to parallel
Yeah.
Bruce and Hulk? Like he doesn't even like he really did become another
It,
person.
it could be like a bit of a situation where like maybe the writers of this episode particularly don't realize that or that Bruce having alters is not because of the gamma accident. It was because of his childhood.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing, because like because I mean, because with the exception of maybe the Batman animated series at the time in the 90s, and some stuff with the X-Men 90s cartoon, not many superhero shows could talk about family trauma from childhood.
Yeah,
Because even like with
not
this with
surprised.
the 90s Spider, because of censorship and a
Yeah,
bunch of crazy stuff.
that's what I said.
Because even with the 90s Spider-Man show, I have a lot of love for that show. But Uncle Ben only shows up in the series finale. He's not really mentioned beforehand, and even Peter's parents are not also mentioned. So like even as a kid, I was kind of like, he's only Spider-Man. Peter Parker is only a thing when he's around Aunt May and MJ. His past anything to do with trauma and death is kind of fast forwarded to that show. So I am trying to remember if we do get any reference to his father, Brian Banner, because it would be interesting if, as we keep watching, he comes up.
It'd definitely be interesting if we did. I doubt it. And like less because of censorship and more because like this was a kids show, so they're not gonna wanna like go into a bunch of child abuse stuff. In a kids show, but yeah, this I thought was really funny with Zazik. I posted about it on Twitter last night. Oh, they kind of gave him a big butt,
Oh
which was
yeah,
really funny to me. And then like one of the times where he goes to get energy, it kind of looks like he's fucking the tank.
yeah. There's a lot of like,
Like,
yeah, in a lot of like 90s animation, especially for like some Marvel stuff, even like in 90s Spider-Man and 90s X-Men, there are many times like the amount of ass shots for the women and the men. I'm like, okay, these animators had way too much fun drawing that.
oh man, and like he's like trying to get energy out of this power bank tank thing. It literally looks like he's thrusting into it,
Yeah, yeah,
which
there's
is
a lot.
so wild. It's such a wild visual, and I feel like if this had come out today and not in the '90s, you just know this would have been a meme.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, people even people now doing memes with stuff like Invincible,
Yeah.
or like even like other superhero shows,
Oh
and like,
yeah.
even My Adventure Superman.
Yeah. Like, oh man. I think my one thing that I am like a bit disappointed with in both episodes is I kind of feel like not a lot happens
Mm,
I get it, it's only 20 to 25 minutes episodes, but I feel like a lot of other superhero shows, particularly a lot of superhero shows these days, they're even that short. There's more going on in episodes than
oh
this.
no,
It feels like there was just like very like just little bit happens, and then you go on to the next episode.
yeah. I get what you mean. That feeling I had, that's the same feeling I had as a kid, where like they really committed to the runaway future bit a little too much, where they had this very thing of like he has to keep moving, he has to keep moving. The only real plot change in these episodes is the fact that Rick and Bruce reunite since the pilot. They're on the run together. Everyone knows that Rick is helping Hulk, and they had to interact with Tony, Rhodey.
Yeah,
There was a lightning villain that Bruce had to fight. But for the most part, like it doesn't to me. Like I do think, okay, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but like there is a plot later with
yeah,
some of the
makes
villains. The
sense.
villains form the plot. I'm trying to remember when that happens because like, it's like later this season, I think, or next season.
One thing
But
I'm kind of surprised by with the second of the two episodes we did today is there's no actual villain.
yeah, because it's just Zazix and then Ross again.
Yeah,
Like
just
that's
Ross. Like, there's no like actual supervillain in the fourth episode. Like I would have thought they would have like had some kind of like character that could be both considered a Hulk villain and an Iron Man villain show up.
yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it's funny because the Iron Man cartoon was around the same time, I think, or am I just finished? And I love that show a lot. There's kind of an interesting vibe, like the way they introduced Tony and Rhodey in this. They were trying to do the thing of like, if you haven't watched the show, we're gonna treat this for new people, for new viewers. There is a moment where I was kind of like, when is this in Iron Man's life? I was like, what season? because I'm like, if Rhodey's War Machine over here and he has this, and this, I'm like, wait a minute. Like I was trying to, cause I remember Tony being in Las Vegas a lot in his show. Like that's what they really committed to explain why he wasn't in the East Coast with Spider-Man and the X-Men to really put him over there. I was like, huh, they're showing his hotel, his casino in Vegas, because it's also kind of a reference to Howard Hughes, one of the inspirations for Tony Stark. And Howard Hughes, before he passed away, he lived here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And so that was kind of like a real thing. Like they wanted to homage. Um, I was trying to think because, like, I mean, they could have used the Mandarin. You know, that I feel like there's a missed opportunity. Um, and the leader who was in the pilot, like the first two episodes, so to speak, I know he obviously he comes back because he's the leader. The leader in Gargo kind of forms the plot with most of the best episodes of the show. So these were really the first two episodes without them. If you think about it, actually doing anything. So like, it was I mean, it's fun. I like the action. I kind of like the pacing, but it does. I do think there were many times where they were fast forwarding because of the 21-minute runtime. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I think, and maybe they. I've never seen the Iron Man and show. But I think the one thing I think is really cool with this is that we actually did get Rhodey
Yeah.
as War Machine. I didn't expect that he would show up.
Oh
I
no, no,
thought
no.
that he would have been like a is like before before the Iron Man movies, but he's kind of made him big.
Yeah.
I never knew of War Machine, so it kind of seemed like he was like a bit more niche of a character, if that makes sense.
Oh no, I understand that, and with Rhodey, it's kind of like some people. There are many different characters in the Marvel universe. That's like Batman, like Daredevil or Moon Knight, or like there are many Batmen of the Marvel universe. Like, even T'Challa, Black Panther, he's seen as Batman-esque in terms of like the technology and his skills as a martial artist in the Marvel universe. When it comes to Tony Stark Iron Man, people compare him to Bruce Wayne because of the billionaire aspect, being a playboy, being famous.
Yeah.
And some people go, well, Rhodey, that's his Robin, But when Rhodey becomes War Machine, and even at one point in the comics, he became Iron Man. There was a period of time where actually Tony was like gone. Like he wasn't dead, but he stopped being Iron Man. He let Rhodey do it. And Rhodey got to wear the classic red and yellow. In fact, in the 1980s Secret Wars book, which wasn't multiverse. It was actually just on a planet. This being called the Beyonder kidnaps the heroes and villains of the Marvel universe. Doom, Kang, Galactus, and on the Marvel side was Spider-Man, Hulk, and X-Men and Fantastic Four. He kidnaps them, puts them on one planet, and so you guys are gonna do this competition. You're gonna try win this thing, and whoever wins this thing gets to go back to Earth. The rest of you will die. Or like it was just them betraying each other and having fun on the planet.
Yeah,
There's a funny moment. Iron Man's in that book. He never takes off his helmet. And then when he does take off his helmet, it's revealed to be Rhodey. And they're like, oh, wait, because they suspect Iron Man's Tony because he's not out yet. He doesn't have a public face yet. But they were like, wait a minute. We've been calling you Tony this whole time. You never corrected us. And you never wanted to reveal yourself. I said, why? And it's like, well, I'll be honest. All of you know Tony. I'm the black guy. You didn't know me until now. So I couldn't just reveal to you that I wasn't Tony. So the entire Secret Wars book, he has his helmet up, just trying to do an impression of his white friend in order to survive. He's like, I have no idea who any of you people are. Yes, Richards, Reed Richards. That's right. I know exactly who you are. So like,
I feel like a lot of them, he would have like known somewhat who they are through news footage of superheroes that was protecting the world.
Oh no, but like there's a funny moment where like Reed is like, huh, Tony's not being as smart as I remember. Because remember, Rhodey's not astrophysics. He's not a mechanical engineer. So there are many times where he just tells Reed, oh, I have a concussion, my brain is not in it. Reed, can you work on the machine? You inspire, go work on this machine. I'm gonna take it right back. It's one of the few it's like one of the few like funny moments in Secret Wars. But like with Rhodey, because in the Iron Man cartoon, I know you haven't seen it, but in the Iron Man cartoon, they committed to the whole. Now, in the first Iron Man movie, you've heard it where Tony's at the press conference and the reporter lady is like, "You expect us to believe that Iron Man's your bodyguard?" That was Tony's excuse in the comics for like
Yeah.
40, 50 years. Whenever they see Iron Man flying by, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I'm not Tony Stark. I'm his bodyguard." And it's like, well, "Where's Tony?" And then he would have to swap places, and he would tell Rhodey, "Wear the costume, fly to me, shake my hand for the photo, and get the fuck out." So they all think I'm not Iron Man. Like that's what they used to do. Similar to like in Arrow, Oliver would have Rhodey dress up as Green Arrow to throw off the cops, so they could be two places at once, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I do like the fact that like it is kind of funny that Rick Jones just bikes up to War Machine and is like, "Look, I need to talk to Tony about Bruce Banner." Bruce Banner, the Messiah, he just grabs him and just goes to
You know,
Tony.
what's really funny about that scene to me is how little care Brody has in just throwing Rick Jones's bike away.
Yeah,
I'm like, I like I get like not caring like about the like damaging the bike,
yeah.
but like I feel like just chucking a bike is kind of dangerous.
Oh no, it's it's funny. That kind of becomes. I can tell you this now. It's not a major spoiler. That kind of becomes a recurring gag. Rick Jones's bike is always fucked with. I am not joking because obviously I'm sure you're aware of the famous Ghost Rider has a cameo in this show in this universe in Incredible Hulk, and there's a moment where like Ghost Rider turns and he sees Rick Jones and he's like, "How come you keep losing your bike? Like every time I see you, you're running. You're supposed to be a bike."
Oh man. Oh, I think what else is there about these episodes to talk about? I feel like we've talked about just about everything about these episodes. It really does suck that there's not more going on in them because it's hard to find stuff to talk about.
Oh no, I understand that.
Imagine how much worse it would be if we were reviewing just one of these episodes at a time, not two. There would be
Yeah,
so little to talk about.
yeah. It's such a thing where like it's like oh, because it's, I mean it's kind of funny just because like there are some like great two-parters and I think there's even a three-parter later in the season. Those feel like fun little like mini movies so to speak. Like I did like the fact they were continuous. These two episodes individually really did show what Saturday morning cartoons were like in the 90s.
Yeah.
You couldn't be as hard hitting all the time. You really did have to kind of put not a filler episode, but like it's of the week. It's a tale of the week
Yeah,
and it's for this thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. One little moment I really liked was when Hawk saves the family, thinking they're Betty, that the girl in the family's Betty. And then the dad gives him his jacket. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah. I like that too. And also, I do like the fact that you do feel the sense that the Hulk as a character, the monster, so to speak. There are moments where we see that he does care about more than just Betty. He cares about Rick. He cares about strangers and even like new friends, so to speak.
Mhm.
And I even like that one sweet moment where Hulk's by himself, like he's in the rain, and he encounters that one family of
Yeah,
like immigrants, and they're sweet to him, and they go off their way, and it's a reminder that he is gentle, even when no one else can really see it.
yeah,
Like that family remembers him. The world didn't see him be
yeah.
gentle,
It's like that's the thing that so many Hulk fans I think don't understand. And like they want Hulk to just be this raging monster, and it's like no, he's a very soft guy. That's you're asking for something that's just not what Hulk is.
Yeah.
And that's one of my big problems with the 2008 film is just how monstrous he is like I don't but like he's very mindless and he has and like his design is very monstrous. I'm like that's not what I want Hulk to be like.
Well, with the 2008 Hulk film, I still like some of it. I think, okay, the problem is it's such a okay. When the 2003 film came out, I like the 2003 film by Ang Lee a lot. And of course, the only complaint, well, the biggest complaint everyone had was it's not enough action. So with the 2008 film, there was like, let's try up the action and let's try downplay any potential over talking. Like there are great conversations of dialogue in the Incredible Hulk 2008 movie, but there are a lot of scenes that are missing. Like for example, there's one scene that's in all the trailers for the Incredible Hulk, but it's not in the movie. Is when Bruce is talking to Doc Samson, and Doc has like a therapy session. Like, have you seen it? It's in the trailers for the Incredible Hulk.
I
Well,
don't think I've seen that.
oh
No.
no, I've seen it. No, I've seen it all the time. It was in so many TV spots where it's Edward Norton and Ty Burrell's Doc Samson. They're in Betty's house and they're talking, and Doc is asking him, "So, what did you do to Betty? Like, did you hurt her?" And he's like, No. I didn't hurt her. I have a condition that makes me unsafe to be around." And Doc's telling him, "Well, you have anxiety. Do you have it's normal to have rage issues." And of course, Bruce, I remember it was in so many of the TV spots in 2008 that when I went to go watch the film, I was like, Bruce and Doc Samson has no scene, but the scene of them talking is in all the fucking trailers. Like, it legitimately was like, how the fuck? No, that was like one thing. I was like, okay, they clearly cut some stuff. And then with the 2008 film, we only see Hulk be gentle around Betty, right? But then there were moments where like I think my favorite moment in that movie is when he defeats Abomination. He has his leg on him, and it seems like he's about to kill him. And the only thing he does is he screams in pure rage because he knows that the cops and the soldiers and Ross are terrified of him and want to keep fighting him. So Hulk's expecting them to keep going, but all the people in Harlem with Betty are just looking at him in shock because they realize that like he did a good thing, and Hulk is ready for the next fight because that's all he knows. And then of course we see Ross tell the soldier to put the gun down because like he needs to be calm, right? And of course it's when Bruce and Hulk talk, he says Betty, and then the helicopter lights flash his light on Hulk, and Hulk scowls because like he's like, I can't even enjoy this moment with Betty. I can't enjoy this win because this is how the world is, and he just leaps away, right? Like that moment with Hulk in the 2008 film, I like only because there's a visual story being told.
Yeah.
To me, that's the deepest part to me, besides some stuff with Bruce and Betty, because I was like, it does show where Hulk was mentally. And then we get to later on with the MCU in like Avengers, Age of Ultron. With Avengers, Hulk learns to be a hero again.
Yeah.
And when he's fighting the Chitauri.
Like, yeah.
And then in Age of Ultron, when he's manipulated by Wanda's magic, and he's forced, he and Tony accidentally destroy a small town. You see the regret on his face. And then only when Hulk fights Ultron again, he feels like it feels like he's about to forgive himself until he closes the phone call on Nat. Like, to me, I took that as Hulk was like, I know I fucked up, and I want to be alone right now. And then of course in Thor Ragnarok, we see Hulk find a new place, enjoying being a monster and killing bad guys in the Colosseum. But then we see it's kind of a facade, and that he needs Bruce and Hulk need to leave with Thor because they both miss Thor and they miss being around real friends. So like, in regards to on this tangent about MC Hulk, from where we got from the 2008 film to where it went later on is better in my opinion. But to me, I do feel like the ending of the 2008 film and Avengers set up a lot.
Yeah, I don't dislike the 2008 film. But I don't like it as much as some people on Twitter.
No, there's a lot of over. There's a lot of
like it. I think that the only reason a lot of people on Twitter like it is because they don't understand Hulk and they think that he is just this rage monster.
No, there's
they
a lot of.
They want and it's very particularly like they think it's manly, and it feeds into their toxic masculinity.
No, exactly. I completely agree. There's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of like bullshit that I think some people don't want to admit to. Because there are so many people who overpraise the 2008 film, the 2008 whole film, and I'm like, look, A, nostalgia's talking. B, this Bruce Hulk is the same person as Mark Ruffalo. Just because you may not like the later on films Just because you may not like this and this doesn't mean you can't just lie to yourself and pretend these are two different people. And another
Oh
thing
yeah.
is, I'm like, with the Incredible Hulk again, I like that film. It feels like a great start. It's not the ultimate statement of what Bruce is.
Yeah.
Because even Louis Leterrier, who directed that film, he's actually someone I'm a fan of. He directed two of the Transporter films. He directed the 2010 Clash of the Titans. He directed the first Now You See Me. He's a very fun, cool director. Even he said, no. This was like, obviously, if we got to make more sequels, if Universal and Marvel didn't have a falling out, I would have loved to make number 2 about Grey Hulk or number 3 about this is like he had all these ideas, and the only idea he gave to Marvel was, if you guys want to make him the villain of the first Avengers movie, you could, to reference the issue of them fighting Bruce. And then, of course, Joss Whedon was like, no, mind control. Hulk won't be the main villain. It'll be mind control, mind manipulation from Loki. And then he goes to being the classic heroic Hulk for the final battle in Avengers. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to do him fighting everyone for the entire film. Can't do that. You know, and even then, even Louis Leterrier, when he did that film, he was very much like, no, the heart of the film is Bruce and Hulk wanting to do the right thing. Because even in the opening credits of Incredible Hulk, when we see him being unleashed, he accidentally messes up that lab, and he pauses when he sees Betty and he sees the other injured people. What makes it worse is when the guy starts shooting at him and he has to leave. I'm like he's like he didn't like he it was like a baby taking his first steps. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just walking forward, and of course, arguably with the first with the 2008 film, there's one thing I do like is when Betty tries to correct Bruce, and she tells him, "No, you were there for me. Hulk was there for me. He wanted to help me. There's good in this. You refuse to see it because you're blacking out, or like you don't see certain things. You are traumatized by the fact you become this. I get that, but you need to acknowledge that maybe there's a positive, and of course he gets to show that positive when he fights Abomination Hulk, right? With the Incredible Hulk cartoon, I remember like he doesn't really see the positive for a while, for a bit. Like when because even in these 2 episodes, he's so focused on not hulking out. I know I'm trying to remember when, but in my opinion, whenever Bruce hulks out on purpose, that's permission. Hulk, do your job, help as best as you can. I trust you to help. Even in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, they got that right. You know what I mean? When like the fact that Bruce gave Hulk so much control as a hero. With these 2 episodes, I think Bruce is the most passenger. Like he's not really the main character in certain modes. I think that's really the main issue. I
I
think.
can definitely see that. Like like side that's got that I posted a couple times on Twitter that I think that is it's so funny that people get so upset about is I've said many times I think Mark Ruffalo is the best Hulk and the best Bruce Banner. I think that Mark Ruffalo has really made a Bruce Banner and Hulk three-dimensional characters in a way that no other actor before him did.
Mhm.
And people get so pissed off about that. They're like because and particularly fans of the 2008 film get so pissed off about it. Like there's so much deep stuff that we get with Mark Ruffalo as Bruce and Mark Ruffalo as Hulk. Like I don't know how you think that Mark Ruffalo is bad as a character.
But there's a lot of like so many people are lying to themselves. They're like, no, this might be a weird comparison, but like Brandon Routh, I loved him as Clark, as Superman. Regardless how some issues I have with Superman Returns, it showed he was a good Clark. And then we did it again for Crisis. Even when playing a depressed Superman that lost a lot, he still had a glimmer of hope in him.
Yeah.
He reminded me of Clark. With 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 Brandon Routh, it took him a while. It took people a while for him to like give him a fair shake. With Mark Ruffalo as Bruce in the MCU, I know for a fact people loved him in Avengers. They even liked him in Age of Ultron. And even in Thor Ragnarok, people liked him there. The shift against him only started because of Professor Hulk or like an Endgame
because
where they
they
were like,
decided that somehow that was this awful decision that the Russo brothers did, and that the Russo brothers hate Hulk because of it. It's like, no, they don't hate Hulk. You
no, no,
just
no,
don't like the decision.
no, no. But again, they took a gamble, and they were also like, we like Mark, we like him being able to talk, and we like him being smart, and we want him to have all these conversations as Professor Hulk doing these certain things.
Also, they did it because it was very important to the plot of Endgame.
Yeah,
And having someone like Bruce, who is smart enough to understand the complexities of the Infinity Gauntlet and snapping, while while also being strong enough to be able to stand it. It There wouldn't have been a way that they could have got everybody back without him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, there's so many. I've noticed. Okay, like I noticed with so many different fandoms. Sometimes people watch a movie once and then never again, and then even when they watch that movie for the first time, they're not really paying attention. So with Endgame, people like or love that movie, not like that movie, whatever. Whenever certain people bitch about Professor Hulk in that movie, there are times where I'm like, I don't think you guys are paying attention to
Yeah.
like like he's the one that brought back, he did the snap, he brought people back. But even his scene with the Ancient One, not only does that scene explain a lot of the plot in regards to MCU's version of time travel, you can argue that's perhaps the most important scene now with the multiverse saga, especially when the Ancient One says, for your reality, your timeline, you get to thrive. For my version, not so much. But then, of course, he says, but if you put the stone back at that moment it was taken, in theory, in both timelines, it never left. And then he shows the line being corrected. And then, of course, he drops the truth on her, which is Stephen gave up the stone. And she goes, no, that's not supposed to happen. And it's like, no, 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 she did it. So like either he made a mistake, and then of course she says, "Oh, maybe I did." So when she gives it to Bruce and to Hulk, the stone, is very much her giving permission to the rest of the movie, and also in theory, the rest of the multiverse saga. Because like, if you want to play conspiracy theory, so to speak, maybe she knows about Strange's role in Secret Wars, because obviously that's all coming back, and like the amount of time. I say what you want about the MCU, flaws and all, its biggest strengths is the ability to go back to something and you watch something and you go like, huh, they didn't plan this, not really. But this moment right here is the key start for these other things. Like Hulk has so many key moments that decide the future of the MCU.
Yeah.
Small moments, yes. It sucks that he can't have a solo movie yet because of Universal, but like he's gonna get his flowers and more in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Fans are gonna clap and cheer when he's causing some ham, and Bruce is still gonna be smart. Mark Ruffalo Bruce is still gonna be a genius, helping Peter in whatever plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to be honest, I like Professor Hulk. I think he's a really fun, good character. I don't and it, I feel like people hating him is again just because they want Rage Hulk. They want Hulk to be smashy, a monster, and that's why they're always begging for Savage Hulk to come back. I want Savage Hulk to come back too, but my reason for wanting Savage Hulk to come back is because this is not on Hulk. This is Bruce in Hulk's body, and I think there's a really interesting story to tell with having that Bruce has been lying to everybody all this time, saying they're merged when it's actually that he's locked Hulk down deep and stolen his body, and I think having Savage Hulk come back angrier than ever before because he's been locked up for all these years is such an interesting story concept.
I think they might do that only because with the MCU, like with any other franchise, some of the best things to do writing wise is to do parallels between certain characters. Now, Spider-Man Brand New Day, what we know about that plot so far officially is, there was a recent synopsis, which is Peter has been Spider-Man for 4 years, and he doesn't like being Peter Parker anymore. He's focused on only being Spider-Man. and to potentially his detriment because he's not really having relationships, he's not relaxing, he's in constant Spider-Man mode. And throughout all this stuff of the film, they keep saying that Punisher and Bruce will reflect different aspects of Peter and help show him what future he needs to choose. If they do something like that where Bruce is suppressing Hulk, like he didn't, like he's been locking Hulk away, and that causes issues, it might tell Peter, okay, maybe I need to pull back on Spider-Man and be Peter again
Yeah.
with Spider, like find, because identity crisis is always a big thing with the superhero genre, but also with Peter. Like even now, after so many years of experience, Peter has to deal with some type of issue mentally that he has to confront and go forward. So because it's funny with Bruce Banner Hulk, especially in the MCU, you could argue that before they got back characters like Reed Richards or even Hank McCoy Beast, MCU Bruce was like he was kind of like a homage of what they could do. You know what I mean? Like just in terms of like Professor Hulk, he's a CGI animated character who's moving around wearing normal clothes, being smart. And then you see the Beast in Marvels, who's CGI mocap, moving around in a lab coat, being who he is personally. I feel like that was a testing moment, a testing ground moment. And even like the fact that before Tony unlocked it, Bruce was trying to look into time travel, which is very much a Reed Richards thing to do. So like there was a lot of like moments where they were using MCU Bruce to honor other characters in the Marvel universe that I think people missed, but it didn't feel like a deviation to who Bruce is.
Oh, what do you think of my theory that he has been in lying to everybody that he's not actually them merged, or it seems to me like that's obviously what's going on, and it makes sense for Bruce's character because Bruce does have an arrogance to him even in the comics. He's always had an arrogance to him, and so it would make sense him being willing to do something shitty like that.
It's funny. I think your theory will be partially true. The only reason, okay, in She-Hulk, remember in the pilot when she gets out of the glass cage, and Bruce like, easy girl, easy, whatever, and then she starts talking, and he's confused, like, you don't have an alter ego,
Yeah.
and she goes, no. I was like, do you? And like that was right. And then Bruce has DID. It's not in every universe. He always has DID. MCU Bruce, whatever, because of the trauma caused by his father, or maybe because he's in denial. It's like until Jennifer was in control, was there was no other personality. She-Hulk was just She-Hulk. Jen is just Jen. Bruce was genuinely like, okay. So I think he figured out in that moment, oh, it's me. Like it's not the Hulk, it's me. I actually have another alter. Because even like Abomination, Emil Blonsky, he has no alter. It's just him. There is no other personality. So I think in that moment, Bruce may have realized, okay, if what's causing the separation, and I think maybe he figured out then that he locked up Hulk. You know what I mean? In his mind.
A lot of stuff with with Hulk and She-Hulk that people don't seem to realize, like that, that like he like that could have been part of what pushed him to go to Sakaar and get his son on that like there also there's also sign that I think a lot of people don't notice about that first episode of She-Hulk that is very important is how that is the first time in the MCU that they've actually mentioned that Hulk is completely this other guy. That is the first time in the MCU that they mentioned that Bruce has trauma. He has decades worth of trauma,
and also
I think that's a big thing that like people try to dog on on She-Hulk and Hulk in that, but it's like that kind of understands the Hulk character more than some other stuff in the MCU does.
Oh no. There's a lot of key details in the She-Hulk show that I think went over people's heads. There's even like some changes where I'm like, okay, this explains it. Because I was like, because Jen doesn't know. Like, okay,
Oh yeah.
and we all know. Well, I mean, okay, most people, like, it's not common. Like, no one knows that Brian Banner killed Bruce's mother. Like it just in like pop culture consensus. I think it's not as famous as say the death of the Waynes in Batman, right? But most Hulk fans they know, Bruce's father Brian Banner did this terrible thing, and then he died of an accident years later, and Bruce was forced to keep quiet, and he went through so much. Now, in some comics, it's implied that Brian hit or abused Jennifer when she was younger. They don't say it, but it's always been heavily implied that she's always hated Bruce's father. In the context of that show, we see Jen's parents, and they're very normal, incredibly normal. And I think, and if they're what is it? I'm trying to remember how they're related. They're related to Bruce's mom, not Brian, because Brian was the only child. So I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think the dad. Oh no, wait. Was it the dad? It was
I
the
don't
dad.
think they actually explicitly said in the show what
How they're related.
like how they're related. What there's a lot of Hulk fans that try to use the fact that one of the aunts is named Rebecca to say that Hulk didn't have any of his trauma in the MCU. It's like
What?
no,
That's
that's no, they
well. You know what's funny?
they
There was a
if anything, they've changed that means that they've changed who was the name of Bruce's mom in the MCU. Because if that aunt were or Bruce's mom, don't you think she would have had a reaction when he showed up to their barbecue with a son, meaning she
no,
would have a grandson?
no, but not just that. Like Kevin Feige has a lot of respect for the 2003 Hulk film. He was he was there as a producer. But there was one scene from Thor Ragnarok that was deleted because Kevin Feige was like, we can't put this in.
Yeah.
Where basically, I'm not sure if you what in the scene of Thor Ragnarok, there's a
Yeah.
moment where Thor tells Bruce, "Oh, my father's dead," and Bruce, "Oh, I'm sorry, man," and then he says, "I miss my father," right ever. And then Kevin Feige was like, "Yeah, cut it." It's like, why? And he's like, Bruce didn't love his dad. Bruce
Yeah,
never
like,
loved his dad. He's like, it's like,
and then Hawk fans also use that to try and say that he doesn't have trauma. They're like, oh, that scene's canon. No, it's not. They deleted it for a reason. It's not canon.
yeah, I understand that. Like,
It's so annoying to me how some Hawk fans act. Actually,
it's
which like every fandom has people who are annoying, but like it's just like if a character you act like a character's your favorite, but you can't actually pay attention to what they do with the character. That's kind of sad.
yeah. Yeah, I understand. Like, and it's funny because like with Hulk fans, I think with any fandom, there's bound to be frustrations. But I think one of the biggest problem is so many Hulk fans because they're so impatient or like they're so bitter at the circumstance that Marvel can't make a Hulk film really because of Universal. They'll just be like, "Well, I'll take it out on Marvel," or "I'll take it out on these films for not making Bruce more important." Now, there are some fans who are genuine and they're not being overly bitter about it. Like if someone goes, "Oh man, I want a solo Hulk movie," that yearning, that wanting, that's fine. That's normal. I think we're all in agreement. We
Yeah.
want more Hulk.
Oh yeah.
If you're going any project that doesn't use him the way my fanfic in my head is not using him, I'm gonna hate on. Like She-Hulk or Thor Ragnarok or this is this. I'm like, I'm sorry, you are making this a problem for you. You know what I mean? And then with
Oh
Spider-Man,
yeah.
like people are already now trying to decide if they're gonna do Bruce right or not. And I'm like, no. From what we can see, if you like Destin and you love the comic book feel we're getting from the promotional photos and this, yes, Destin is gonna do some incredible stuff with Hulk visually, action, and he clearly likes Mark Ruffalo a lot. So yeah, he's gonna do a good job. To already decide if it's gonna be good or not before you watch the film is a problem. You can't just predict the future. You just can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, we never know. Like, but
Oh
like
yeah.
I understand being excited, but like there's so much narrative control being done by fans. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really everything though to talk about for this episode. We've talked a lot about the animated show. We've talked a lot about MCU Hulk as well. So I like about wind this episode down. So, any final things you'd like to say before we end this off?
Of these episodes, I like the Iron Man episode a bit more.
Yeah.
Just for the sense of like Marvel community, I think.
Mhm.
And just but also I think at the end of the episode it leads to focusing on Bruce and Rick's friendship. And I think it's a very fun on the road episode. And I think, it's really cool. These episodes are fun. It feels like individual chapters, and it's so fun Saturday morning cartoon. So
Yeah.
I feel like you could just watch one of these without needing too much information and just go into it.
Absolutely. Definitely. That's everything to say for this episode. So, thank you everyone for listening. If you like this game analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episodes, so please let me know. If you'd like to listen more from me, please subscribe. Many more game analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Matt Stokes, signing off.